What I want to do first is to give you the question, because frequently you hear answers and you can't figure out the question. Humanism flows from a revolution since the invention of agriculture, most likely the greatest revolution ever. Judaism is the culture, not the religion.
Seriously, welcome, a very, very warm welcome to all of you to this extraordinary weekend.
Welcome, dear friends, to SHJ at 50. In 1982, I became the first executive director of the society. Well, in those days, we used to say, there are no humanistic Jewish emergencies. And that was true, until one Sunday morning in July 2007, we received the devastating news that our charismatic founder and leader, Rabbi Sherwin Wein, had been killed in a car crash in Morocco.
My humanism is enhanced by my contact with my family and historic culture.
Whenever life despairs of us, Rabbi Sherwin Wein told us, his poem, Hope is a Choice, reminds us that we always have a choice in how we respond to life circumstances.
Rachel, we present this award with great appreciation for what you have already accomplished and look forward to standing with you in this coming fight.
I'm so honored to receive this award as the first Jewish non-Christian, actually president of this 72-year-old organization called Americans United for Separation of Church and State.
When you hit a milestone, like 50 years, you can't help but think about the past, the present, and the future.
In my culture and in humanism as a philosophy of life, I refused to say what I did not believe, which is the next principle. We will not do the tactic of traditional liberal religion.
And show this video and say that this conference was a turning point. This conference was the time when a movement came together to determine what the next steps are, what the future is going to look like, how we hand this over to the next generation of humanistic Jews.
We say it loudly and clearly, we're humanists. We do not talk to God, we do not pray to God. We are in charge of our lives, and there is no need to have God as the foundation of our ethical principles. That's what it is.
In 6 words, what makes you feel passionate about humanistic Judaism? And let me
Judaism with intellectual and progressive stimulation.
Humanistic Judaism is my Jewish home.
At last, I am honestly Jewish.
There is not one person in the room that cannot be a leader. Not one. You can be your own leader. You lead yourself. You can lead your children. You can lead your friends. You can lead whoever you feel you want to. But you know what? I don't think you can give up that option before you tried it.
That humanistic Judaism is much bigger than a congregational denomination. And I want us to think that way and help people experience humanistic Judaism along many different paths and in many different ways.
So again, to frame the conversation today for you and also for our listeners, we're here talking on the 50th anniversary of the Society for Humanistic Judaism and of the movement, essentially, to really try to dig deep into this question of what is a movement thinking about when it's 50 years old.
So for me, secular humanistic Judaism is really about serving the people for whom other kinds of communities don't feel like a right fit and aren't meaningful for them.
So one of the things that happens is that the humanist world for a long time gathered the wounded. It gathered the people who were wounded by the other side.
I didn't find that. I searched in all forms of Judaism. I searched and I did not find, and that has been really powerful for me.
I'm talking about the places where excitement is being created, and some of them very controversial, where we put people and our concerns for their well-being, no matter who they are and where they are, at the very center of our concern.
We are individuals, we have our gender, we have our sex, we have our geographic identities, our sports allegiances. These are all part of who we are in a rotating mix of expressions.
It is a pleasure for me to be here and talk about what really is a passion of mine, about Jewish art.
Give me 2 or 3 weeks notice. What I'd love to do is schedule meetings with your congressional offices. And so what we wanted to do is to make it very, very localized, to be in a region and open to everybody, whether it's an ethical society, a humanistic Jewish group.
We are not creationists. We believe in evolution. And the more we know about our evolutionary roots, the more we can choose from a place of knowledge what is possible.
Are you getting the question? It's not an unimportant question. And that's what we're exploring. That is, if we could find some way of connecting to what is important for these people, then maybe they would be able to cross the bridge.
Now, the Palestinians obviously say we have been dispossessed.
I think especially for younger people, that is such a fundamental way of looking at the world.
Blessed is the light of this place, and may it shine throughout the world. Those who join the Jewish people have an opportunity to take a Hebrew or a Jewish name, and Jared chose the name Zamir.
Most importantly, I discovered a people who have given me comfort, warmth, and connection. The Jewish people, my adopted siblings.
In short, this movement has provided the best educational and communal experiences of my life. I love everything this movement has been for the past 50 years. Change is necessary. In this movement, in our individual lives and careers, and certainly in a world where too much is presently off course.
Are we a new Genesis, created all at once by Sherwin wine from the dust of the ground? Or are we another example of making Judaism great again? Of course, the honest answer, what appears in our intellectual DNA and our family tree, is both.
Rock and roll is our passion. That's why we're talking about Jews and rock and roll. We're going to start at the beginning, and we're going to talk about some of the disc jockeys who played rock and roll in the beginning days. We're going to start with Alan Freed.
What I found was that science, even if it's not labeled science, influences much of what we do.
I'm going to just talk about the relationship between science and humanistic Judaism.
Sivan, thank you so much for reminding us or informing us that diversity is part of Jewish tradition. That's a valuable thing to know.
If this was good for you, if it had meaning, and if you connected to other people, and if you got something out of it, then that was the point.
Got the question? Got my answer? You've been wonderful. Thank you so much.